Good afternoon, Facebook audience. This is Jennifer Noreen with Beyond Brand Collective, and I'm here with Mark Melsness. Good afternoon, Mark.
Oh, wrong hand. There we go.
Yeah, here we are. So happy Tuesday. My gosh, this time's
Yeah,
going by fast. I think yesterday was my transition to the new COVID world, and today's my wow. I really do need to figure out how to keep going here. So it's exciting to be able to work during COVID and to have live stream and to have ways that we can just continue business as usual because of the online environment that we have. So we haven't heard from Mark in you said months. I think it's been maybe, I guess it has been over a month or so.
I believe so.
Yeah, I would like to know what's going on with Spinnaker in regards to the pandemic and just what it looks like going into the holiday for your business and how things are going. So take it away, Mark.
Yeah, well, in some cases just more of the same. Spinnaker itself has really taken some concrete steps to comply, or even in some cases over comply until today or yesterday with the governor's rollback. But our doors are closed to the public, appointment only, and we really aren't scheduling many appointments. You've got this wonderful thing called digital viewing, whether you use there's all kinds of sources out there to use. And so we're meeting with renters and owners via electronic digital and video. So
Yep.
And in other cases, we've adjusted how it is that we are out in the world with people, like with work orders, move-ins, move-outs, and even how we are showing vacant homes or homes that are going to be becoming vacant. So all that is adjusted significantly.
So are you acquiring new owner clients and new resident clients within the midst of all this? Sounds like
Absolutely.
you are.
You bet. Yeah.
And you're obviously taking care of your current owner and resident clients.
Yeah, there's things that we do, like wearing masks and setting up appointments, that because we have to see the homes when we're meeting with clients, so that we can understand what needs to be done to prepare the home for occupancy and the rental rate.
Sure.
And the same thing with people who want to rent. So do we do virtual video, or do we schedule independent tours in vacant homes for them? So
Got it. So you've just adjusted, it sounds like.
yeah.
Are you
Yeah, well,
doing,
we have to.
is it pretty much the same processes?
One more time.
Is it pretty much the same processes that you're using, or have you had to change how you go about doing those things?
Well, it's a constant evolvement, because we can't get stuck in just, well, this is the only way we can do it, when even though we haven't done it before, just the way that we do it doesn't mean it's the right way. So let's step back, take a look, adjust, and then recommit. And in some cases we got it right the first time, in some cases it took 3 or 4 times. So
Sure. So just for the sake of the investors that are watching this or will watch this, can you just give a little bit of your perspective on what's going on in the Puget Sound market? I know this is always this crazy positive conversation when everyone expects it to not be, but real estate has just done very well. And I know you have been busy working with owners, acquiring properties and putting them up for rent, maybe selling some of the properties that they have. I know you don't buy and sell, but walking them through those strategic decisions of what to do with their portfolio given the market. So we know it's kind of an interesting market. It's not what we expected. So has anything shifted or changed in the last couple of months as far as that goes? Are we just running out of inventory altogether, or are things still flipping and turning? And what's going on, especially with your owner clients? What's going on?
yeah, well, the big thing that's very surprising is that Pierce County territory has been performing at a super high level, equal even to the levels of purchase and sales for real estate commercial investment properties, whether it be single families, duplex, fourplexes, 10, 20 units. It's the only county in the entire state that has exceeded or even matched, let alone exceeded, what the 2019 model had shown. King County, Snohomish County, Thurston County, Kitsap County, they're still doing some stuff, but nowhere near what they did in 2019, and Pierce County is beyond that.
And I heard Tacoma is the shortest length transaction in the nation. So if you're
Yeah,
coming into the market and buying, it is the shortest amount of time of anywhere in the nation right now. That is mind-boggling.
yeah, and that's on the purchase and sale side. And what's driving that is that King County had been leading that not only for the state but for the nation, as we heard, for 15, 16, 17, 18. And in 2019, what had happened is they had, in my opinion, and a lot of other opinions, had reached that teetering point to where people were just to the threshold of we need to start changing our gaze elsewhere. And it went north to Snohomish and it went south to Pierce County. And
Mm.
Snohomish had already been trailing between the Pierce and the King. So Pierce County became the natural, like, oh, I can get more for my buck in Pierce County and still be within, a high density county like the city of Tacoma and get great exposure and return. And so what's happening is we got a lot of people with pent up investment money capital that went to King County and went, no, I'm not doing this anymore. And the regulations that have been rolled out within the city of Seattle has scared a lot of investors, even though they're willing to spend some of that money. And so they migrate north. And what's happened is our values have started to increase on the dollars per door, and people's opinion on what their return on investment has actually started to shrink. Like they said, well, I'll never do anything under 8%. Well, now they're looking at, well, I won't do anything under 5% return. Well, because you can't find it better than that. So there's a lot of off-market deals, and the ones that do go to market, which are the appropriately ventilated ones to get the highest and best potential sale price, they have already got walkthrough scheduled the day that it hits the market and offers to be reviewed and accepted within like 4 or 5 days of listing. And it's done.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. So how much of your time are you spending with owners that are making shifts in their portfolio? I mean, I know your business is to bring on these new owners who want you to take over the property management, responsibilities. Yeah. Obviously, that's your day-to-day business. But how much shift are you feeling in your, hundreds of owners that you work with? How much shift is going on? Are they, like, I've heard that they're selling some of the rentals. Are they making changes within this market because of the pandemic, because it's always been a hot market, or what are you seeing, and how much of your time are you spending in that part of your business?
We do have some people who are seeing the value of selling their home, taking their cash with the reduced principal, the note that they own in it, and the increased value that it has since they bought it, and they're just hopefully going to Hawaii or Tahiti and just enjoying the interest on that for the rest of their lives. Some of them, they've had some delinquencies and they've made it through that and then weathered that, and they're like, you know what, this is a great time for me to exit this environment. They really weren't like interested in it initially, only because it was like they moved and they wanted to rent their house out. They didn't go out and buy an investment, they just had one. And then that is a small percentage of the activity that's happening on the way out. There is even more activity on the way in. We have current clients and we have new clients that are reaching out to us and saying, I'm in the process of looking or buying, or actually I just closed. And that would have been great to actually be with them before they closed, because we could have prepared. And so they're actually in the process of exchanging properties into their possession. And we have a number of new clients and already existing clients that are doing that supersede the ones that are on their way out.
Okay, so you do have more that are acquiring to rent out than you do people that are moving out of the market?
Exactly, and that's where our value gets to be experienced by the purchaser, our client, because we will go out with them and do a market analysis and a walkthrough of the home to assess its potential value before they even have to do the purchase and sell agreement, right? So they can lock it up, they can be in the inspection, we can do our due diligence, and we can share with them what the exact market rent will be when it goes to market, and how that bumps up against the expenses, and what that return will be, and measure that for them before it's in the deal.
So there's a video that you did about that pro forma, and there's
Yep.
also we do a weekly campaign or weekly communication to owners that are thinking about working with Spinnaker. You can sign up for it on the website, but this topic, this pro forma topic, is in that email series as well. If you just want to be educated about what Spinnaker does and what they spend their time doing, and there's some market updates in there. There's a lot of good information, but you can sign up for that email. It goes into more detail about what this pro forma is Mark's talking about. So I almost feel like
And that's a little Easter egg. If you can find the faux pas in that video, call me and let me know.
if you can find the little thing we overlooked, that's right, you will win a prize.
I didn't say a prize.
That's right. They have really cool pens and they have really
Yeah.
cool little things to hold your cell phone up. So I just feel like, I don't know if this is, there you go. There it is. It seems like you could spend more time on that type of advising and getting out into the community with investors if, you're so busy working with owners that are anxious to work with Spinnaker. I just feel like your time as a leader there could almost grow into doing more of that consulting. Does that kind of seem
Yeah.
like that, Mark?
Absolutely. And I'm actually working with one particular client right now who I've talked out of 2 deals. And it's not like he's desiring to spend all of his capital because he has to spend all his capital, because there's no time restraint on this particular client's cash. However, but he looked at the last 2 ones were great properties, and there was just, it might have been overpriced. Yes, it was. No, mind, it was overpriced. There was things that were neglected on the property that were going to require some cash contributions for repairs, and the rents weren't projected at they were projected at a rate that we wouldn't be able to fulfill. So it was unreal. So you put all those together, there's a higher chance of not reaching the potential, pro forma that they presented. So I presented a realistic one, and it actually was a no-go, and we backed out of 2 of those. And I actually had asked, I said, "Already with that, I apologize for being the negative Nelly and not having showing you the value in these." He goes, "Mark, you showed me the value, and it wasn't there, and
Yeah.
that's why I want you on my team."
Right. Yeah. And that's exactly, you have to be willing to say, no, this is not such a shiny penny that you think it is. And it has to pencil out. And I'm sure that you've done so many of those kinds of deals and probably been tempted yourself as an investor at times in your past to buy things that aren't going to have a return. It's such a gorgeous place. It has such a good view. But the market has to be there to pay the rent and all. I don't, much more than I do about the taxes and the other costs involved in a property, but it needs to make sense. So very good. I just think that Spinnaker is going in such a great direction. I know that you help a lot of people at all different stages of their investment journey, and I know that it's so important. It's so important to emphasize that you don't have to be deciding to work with Spinnaker to call Mark and say, "Can you go look at a property with me?" Or, "Hey, do you know anybody in this South Pierce County region that might own a property?" I think it's so important to use Spinnaker as a networking source and just as a community for investors, because I think that you guys offer a lot of that, and then probably out of that get some great new clients. But you don't
Yeah.
have to be deciding to become a client to call Mark or call some of his staff and discuss what's going on in this market that we have. It's just very amazing. So, well, thanks, Mark. It's good to hear from you, and good to see you. And we didn't talk much about the pandemic. I guess you could wrap up by giving us just a minute or so about has anything shifted there? I know your occupancy and your what are the 2 key numbers you watch? Your occupancy and your delinquency. You had been talking about that in our past updates. Is there anything to report there, or?
Yeah, what we're seeing is it's just a continuation of the already existing individuals who are delinquent or who have not paid rent. They're still not paying rent, and there are maybe 1 or 2 that have who haven't paid the rent, but they were still in communication with us, and we were able to work with them in a majority of all of our people who were in arrears to get them in touch with the ERAP program, the Emergency Renters Assistance in Pierce County. And that well has been very full and giving over the last 2 months, that we've had people go to the well, get assistance, and then fall behind again and go back to the well or the assistance program and then get assistance to get caught back up again.
What's the
So
name of that again? Repeat it.
ERAP, the Emergency Renters Assistance Program, Pierce County, in Pierce County. I'll know exactly in your Kathy
Okay,
what
so
that
ERA.
website is. Yeah. Well,
ERA.
and all of our owner and our renter clients have access to that and a number of other assistance programs that we work directly with, because we've got it set up to where our office assists the renters to get that done at a velocity so that we're first in line or at the beginning of the line, not in the middle or at the end of the line when the money is potentially going to run out, which it probably will here for this month of November. And then
Okay.
hopefully another one will come.
Yeah, and there's also a pay your rent resources page on your website that has beyond this ERAP a whole list of resources. I know that the struggle has been the resources exist, but renters are not contacting the sources of help, and the process to get the help and get it to the landlord has been broken. So I know there's a lot going on to fix that, and the website has information about that. That's it's on the bottom of your screen here, spinnakerpm.com. So don't hesitate to pick up the phone or send Mark an email, mark@spinnakerpm.com. They're happy to help you, whether you're on the paying the rent side or you're an owner struggling to collect rent. There's a lot of things that they can share with you to overcome that. So thanks again, Mark, and we'll be talking to you again in a couple of weeks. And good to see you. And
you got it. And don't forget, property management is what we do. Peace of mind.
Peace of mind is what you deliver. That's right. Thanks, Mark.
All right. Take care, all.